So we're here for the final part of this tutorial. Now you've exported your data into a file. I'm using SPSS now because most Tilburg University students will be familiar with that. In this file, you will see a lot of data, and some of this data you haven't really asked Qualtrics to collect. So things like the start date and the end date in your SPSS file will just be things that Qualtrics stored for you. And they can be useful to understand how long a participant took to complete your survey. That's basically end date minus start date. There's a column called progress where Qualtrics estimates how far each of your candidates has progressed, and some other things that are relatively interesting. Duration in seconds, which is usually now for the fake data. This is obviously very imprecise, but when it comes to humans, you also have the duration here, if somebody finished, and when the response was recorded, which should pretty much equate the end time, and some other things. We did remove the IP address registration here, as I did in the template, the base survey template. But if you've stored that, I recommend removing that immediately because that is personal information. You probably don't need that. Um, then there's some other stuff around the browser information, etc. We asked Qualtrics to store that in the template survey. And here I want to show you what also happens is that there are these questions: email, gender, and age. And when we look at Qualtrics, I labeled these questions email, gender, and age, meaning that it's super easy when you label your questions correctly and clearly to find which variables are what. Otherwise, gender may have been Q underscore 0097 or something. And you're not quite sure what that question is based on just its label. What's also nice about Qualtrics, and I just switched to the variable view here by double clicking the header of gender. So you can double click in SPSS to switch. Sorry if I'm going too fast for that. With that, um, if you're looking here at the gender variable, you can see that Qualtrics also stores the full question, with which gender do you identify, and then it also stores the values. So here it shows us that 1 was registered as male, 2 as female, and 3 as other. When I go to the variable, you can see that there are just numerical values here, together with the values that are stored in this variable, you can figure out what the response of the candidate was. This is your final dataset. Don't forget to properly clean it up, recode your values for the questions that are reversed, and do all the other things that a good researcher would do in preparing their data before conducting your hypothesis tests. And I wish you best of luck from this point on.